Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the number one way to hire the right employee. Now, I've talked a lot about the legal aspects of being an employer that are important and crucial. We're not going to talk about those today because those are important. But in this instance, I want to talk more esoterically. I want to talk more about how you, as an employer, how you can hire the right employee by being the right employer. If you're new here, my name is Taylor Darcy from Think Legal, where I help you create the business of your dreams. So welcome. Very excited to have you here. Just know that we go live Monday through Friday, except for holidays, at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So please join me to learn more about your business, about how to operate your business. And here we go. Hi, welcome back. So today, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about how you can hire the right employees the number one way. Now, there are steps that you need to take as an employer to get to this point. So I don't want you to think, although this is the best way, I want you to think about this more as an evolutionary process, a process by which you can become the employer that people want to work for. And number one, you're going to want to onboard them correctly. You're going to want to have this set up well ahead of time. So this is going to give them the sense that you care about them, that you're willing to comply with the legal requirements of being a good employer. And this is like just a small step that you can take to help start building that relationship of trust. Now, we've already discussed in other videos about hiring the right employee, but this one is more about the being the right employer. So that starts with not only the hiring process, but also the onboarding process. Next thing you're going to want to pay attention to is your culture. What type of culture do you have? Toxic cultures have been on their way out. People are taking less pay to work at a great company than they are to get more pay to work at a crappy company. And this has a lot to do with life becomes too short and money is only part of the equation. So you really want to save, you want to make sure that your company, your culture is somewhere where people want to work. That's why Silicon Valley, unfortunately, took it 1-2 step far, in my opinion. They made it so much about the employee that it was never about the employer, that they, had catered lunches, and Facebook, had, game rooms and things like that. And yes, you absolutely want to do the things to retain your top talent. But even if you do these fun things, if your culture is toxic, if you have toxic masculinity that permeates your culture, or if you have people that are just toxic people and you allow that to continue, then those types of things, even with the fun environment, people are gonna leave simply because of the toxic culture. So you really want to talk about your culture and how it can work for everyone, not just the people at the top, right? If people at the bottom feel like that they're always going to be at the bottom and they never have a chance to work their way up, then it's going to end very badly for you for some potentially top talent. Now, and this is important because you don't want to lose someone that you don't have to by having a toxic culture. So working on culture is as important as hiring the right person with the right way, because you're going to retain that talent that you've had over time a lot longer, and it's going to be a lot more successful for you. The next and probably most important key to hiring the right employee is to have the right leadership and management in place. This cannot be overstated enough. If you have a poor manager or a poor leadership, they are going to drive people away. I don't care if they get results themselves. The purpose of leadership and the purpose of management is to help build the employees, to help them progress and grow and develop into better employees and to help the company succeed, right? So one person can't do that by themselves, not entirely, not while you're at this stage of development. So having a culture, having the right attention to the employer or the employee, having the right attention to leadership and management. And this is why those are things that you're going to want to invest in. You're going to want to invest in leadership. You're going to want to invest in management. People are not born great leaders or great managers, except in the very rarest of instances. So you're going to want to have trainings, consistent overtime trainings that are going to help your employees that are managers or in management positions develop their management and leadership skills. Because if you just think that because someone's the worst decisions and the worst positions that I've ever been had to be subject to were people that thought that they would be good managers because they were good salespeople. Well, most of the time they stunk at being managers because they were great at being sales. So you really want to focus on who is going to be a good manager, not necessarily who's a great salesperson who might be a good manager. So sometimes they might be a terrible salesperson and a great manager. And that's why it's so important that you're working on these people. You're helping them develop their leadership and management skills over time rather than just expecting someone to be born into being a great leader. It's very rare that that happens. It's very rare that you will get someone that is automatically a great leader simply because they exist or they've been good at something else in the company. So don't confuse those two. These elements all come down to being the right employer. This is true with a normal relationship, a healthy relationship that you're looking for someone else. If you are a terrible boyfriend or a terrible girlfriend, you're going to find a terrible boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever you're looking for, right? Because you yourself are not good at being that person. So if you want the right employees, you're going to be the right employer. And this is what I'm talking about. Giving people all of these things, all of these tools to help them build and develop accordingly. And that starts with the most basic of tasks. So these are all very important because you can't, it's like a stool. If you take one out, then you fall over. So you really want to prop up all of these different things, these 3 different ways of becoming the right employer. Work on your culture. Work on making the employee the center of the culture of that. And don't be cheesy. Oh my gosh, I've had companies where it felt too forced. It felt like they were just doing it out of platitudes to be nice. And that to me is a worse situation to be in than not doing it at all. If it feels forced, if you're not really liking it, or if your employees aren't liking it, then it's not going to be a safe space for everybody. So you really want to make sure that it's genuine and it's not forced in that. Don't throw parties just for the sake of throwing parties or throw a party that's mandatory when somebody doesn't want to go. Things of that nature. The next or the last, as I was talking about, proper leadership and management, finding the right person that's a good leader is a work in and of itself. Take your time. Make sure that the person that you're finding is good, because the truth is that's where your money's at. Pay well for those types of positions because they can do amazing things to increase your bottom line by making good choices for you. If you've gotten value out of this video, don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and we'll talk to you later.